Hello, welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about a looper and the importance of a loop pedal. For me, I think it's essential because, like for instance, today I've been working on trying to get the melodic minor sound into my playing. And what I'll do is on anything at all that I want to study, whether it's a scale, whether it's a chord, whether it's, triads, I put it into a looper. And because it's musical, I like to have a beat that inspires ideas, and you find creative ways to use your practice. And I mean, I've been looping. I wish I found out about it 20 years ago. I've been using one maybe 5 years. Somewhere around COVID, I bought one, and I've used one ever since, and exponentially, I went up there. I mean, everything you study, it all makes sense. And I'll put little parts together, like a bass line, a chord, and maybe a little melody in the background, and then just solo over top. And it's all like really simple loops most of the time. One chord a lot of times, sometimes two. But you can do so much with just a little. I'll give you an example here. I'm going to play an E7. Turn this off. A little cleaner. Yeah. So, shape of a E7 is your E, G sharp, B, and D. It's that old classic blues sound. It's this shape. I take out the fifth, I play this 7 on the second string, 6 on the third string, and 7 again on the G string on the fourth string. And I take that sound and I put it behind the drum beat. Just like that. And then what I like to do is also add a bass line. Something simple, like a root 5. That old sound. Put that flat 7 in, like a jazz kind of thing. Hold on. Now, I got a Boss RC 500. Before I play, I'm going to say this. You don't need an expensive loop pedal. You can buy a cheap little on Amazon, probably less than $100, that will do anything you need it to do. So I got this Boss 500. I don't even know most of the stuff it does. I can double track loops and that kind of thing. I could get by with just a simple looper if I needed to. You don't need nothing fancy. I use effects because when I started doing this, all I had was my bass, and when you only have that one sound, you get kind of limited trying to put chords and bass lines, and there's no contrast to anything. So I was had to get effects. For me, I felt like I had to. This change, that HX Stomp's the best thing I ever bought. It's a great pedal. If you don't have one, I mean, I got this tube amp behind me. This old Fender. And that's one of the best amps you can have. But I use this pedal because the pedal's so damn good. you know. I use that thing every day for a long time. But anyways, I got the bass line, got the chord, and lately I've been working on this little melodic minor passage, this little scale. It's a tough one, but it's not a basic. But it takes you out of the key, and then the thing is, you go out of key so you can go back in key. It adds a color to your music. Then you go back in. See, it has that tension and release thing going. But anyways, that's kind of not a great example for this. If you want to play you can outline that chord, which, as I was showing earlier, the shape is. Let me cut this off. This is your shape again. But I'll take that shape, move it up to the octave. Because again, when you play with a looper, and you find this out yourself, if you use one enough, you can't really layer on top of things with a bass. You can, but you gotta kind of have stuff in between almost, I should say, you know, different octaves, and it keeps the contrast. But if you sit there and you play a bass line on top of a bass line on top of a bass line directly on top of each other, then you're just gonna get mud. It's gonna be muddy. And I found all this stuff out through experimenting over time. A lot of practice. And I kind of have a groove to my music, so I can kind of ride on, I put chords on different beats, bass line on, you know, and it kind of keeps the contrast. So, again, so you can hear how that chord, I hit it once, let it ring, and that bass line carries it. But you still get that sound, that E7, without getting too muddy. And then when you put your solo up an octave, it's separating from this part of the neck. It puts you up here, and it, you know, sounds good. All I'm doing is I'm playing that shape and the octave, the triad up here in the octave. It's all linked. Once you see the pattern and see the shape, you just practice it straight up and down. And you might have to do this for a week. And just get that shape down. Then you expand it to the octave. And so it's really a triad. I put that 7 in, but you're basically these notes are the same. The only difference is that D. You're just playing that triad shapes. So you don't have to think about a whole lot. It's just 3 notes, you know, and you can play all over. And since the shape is the E7, it's a Mixolydian scale. So your Mixolydian mode is going to fit over top of that, which is an easy shape. It's all whole steps, I guess. 1 octave. And then you expand the octave, but we'll keep 1 for a minute. You can hear how it all fits. So, and then for my solos, I always like to put some chorus on. And again, it goes back to contrast. Well, you want that. That's a little much, but cut the volume down. Then you find different ways to play the patterns. You know, you can play. A good practice is playing up the scale. Play 3 notes and then go to the second note, go up 3 more notes, go up the third note, go up 3 more notes, 4th note, so on. And that's excellent practice. That's one of the best exercises. Because it teaches you climbing that scale. You use that throughout your whole life playing. If you play bass, So anyways, I like to put some chords on. And basically, I'm playing Mixolydian the whole time because it's one chord, and you can add other stuff in. You can, which I do. But if I'm focusing on one idea, this is how I do it until I get that one idea. Already how much more interesting it is to practice this way than it is to just practice with a click, And you can do the same thing. I'm going to make this even easier on y'all. You can do the same thing with one note. You can just take one note, like this open E, put on this kind of funk thing or something. I use this one all the time because it sounds good. Let's see here. This is just an open E. Ready? Turn off the. Whoop. Can't have that. Now, you got that E, you can play minor or major because there's no defined definition of it. So if I want to play E minor, you got this shape. Your classic E minor shape. That's how you start. Of course, you want to know all over the neck. You want to be able to. And you just put a rhythm to it. It's going to sound good. You can just pick. If you can't play the whole scale and you only know. I'll start off by playing the first 3 notes. So if I don't know something, like a you just play with them 3 notes. switching it up. And then, just for creativity, you got that one note, you can add a high note. You know, I'll take an effect, something weird sounding, and I'll put another background on there. Just another E note. You know, watch, just like this. Got another piece to solo over. With a different sound. Same shape. You can hear how it kind of changes it up just by adding that other background, get new ideas. But, so that's just some simple ideas. I highly recommend anybody who wants to get better at all. You practice, get a loop. Or you can use Ableton. I got Ableton, but the problem with Ableton is I can't get it. I'll try and play along with it, and I can start the looper at the same time and everything, and then after about the second or third time it goes around, it starts getting out of sync. I don't understand why. Even if I time them right up, and it just gets out of sync. So I have to use this looper. And it's easier because it's all on the pedal, and I can do it with my foot, you know. Ableton, you gotta do a little bit. It's a lot harder to sync things up because you gotta use this hand with your mouse, and, you know. I mean, maybe there's ways. I'm no, and I'm gonna say now, I'm no professional on the loop. Everything I've learned is mostly from myself, sitting here at the house, practicing. You know, and I would put stuff together and I would be like, oh, that's muddy, it sounds like garbage, you know. And that's how I started learning how to separate, you know. And it only made me better. Like, I got a freeze pedal for the purpose, because when you can freeze a note out like this, and it will hold that note, that C, indefinite, and you can just practice your C scales. It's gonna be hard to hear on the camera, but that's a great pedal. It has, you know, with the looper, they're both excellent for soloing over, learning. It just gives context, as opposed to just get that thing off. It's just praying like this. You don't have that sound. You know, it does a lot. Because not only can you play a C over top of a C, you can play an A minor, and you get it, or whatever, whichever chords have a C in them, anywhere. Whatever, you can play any scale that has that note in it, and you're going to have different effects, different sounds, you know, and that's how you learn how to write. But I highly recommend a loop pedal and an HX stomp. And I'm by no means at all getting any kind of money for anything. These are just the two best things I bought in my life. I use them daily and I love it. Absolutely. I wouldn't even be on YouTube if I didn't have a stomp pedal. Because that sparked like creativity because of all the sounds it has, you know. But that's just some tips. I can, once I figure out how to do picture in picture and all that, I'll start showing how and more about the looping, because you do got to have a timing to it, and it takes practice to start and stop a loop, and I do it all the time, and I just got good at it, pretty good at it. But there's dudes that are way better than I am. And then, as I just said, I showed you the simple process I do. That's all you really need is keep it simple. And then you can add more chords and all that later on. But generally, with looping, you just put together simple ideas. It's one note, and then you loop another note, whatever, and it just all forms. You don't have to be real complex. It will become complex by using simple ideas, you know. And it's excellent practice. If I would have had this when I was 15 years old, I'd be, 10 times as good as I am. But I just wanted to give some pointers for anybody out there who might be interested. Because when I was starting to loop, I can never find bass players that I could watch and learn more advanced stuff, and it was really hard a few years ago. There's more people now, but just getting past the basic theory, there was not many people that took it to an advanced level. There's some, Yana Gonzalez does, and Dan Hawkins and some other guys. They're all excellent teachers, and they've come up, and I've learned so much off of them. But for a long time, it was just, I had to figure it out myself. So I just started making up songs, like doing a 145 out of C. You got C, F, and G. I would just play C, F, and G. And loop that, practice over it, and match the modes up to the numbers, Most of the stuff I learned, it was just sitting down and thinking about it and figuring out, okay, well, how am I going to learn this? And then I just started making loops up. So it's there's no better way to get better other than if you got a band and you got a drummer that can sit there and play exactly what you want them to play while you practice your scales, which ain't no drummer gonna do that I know. But I appreciate all the support, and I do live streams pretty much daily because, again, I don't do anything different. I practice the same when I was on YouTube, when I wasn't on YouTube, every day. Whenever I get a minute, I hook up and play on the looper. I don't have anything else to do. I don't have no kids. So this is what I do. And so it's not like I just get on YouTube because I feel like I gotta get on there and make videos. No, it's just my practice time. And generally, I'm not even thinking about the video. I'm thinking about when I'm practicing, and I'll get an idea. I'll watch something on TV or YouTube, and it will spark some kind of melody. And I'll get on there and be like, oh, I want to go play that, and that's what I do. And then I got my normal loops that have become, they started off as practices and they kind of became compositions in a way. None of them's really finished yet, but I play all them things and I improvise. Generally it's all improvised. I never play the same thing twice, solo wise, because I try and add different sounds, different scales. But anybody interested in watching live, generally every day. If I work, I'm on in the afternoon, and when I'm off, I'm on, in the evenings, late at early morning, 2 a.m., because I work third shift, so I stay up all night. and I'll play for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll take a break for a little bit, and I get back on. It's just what I do. It's what I love to do. So I appreciate all the support, and if you like and subscribe, it will help me out. I appreciate all the support. Thank you all.